For the month of November, I'm demonstrating greeting cards with matching envelopes. And so today's greeting card that we're doing features a pine cone, pretty pine cone design. So let's get overhead and get started on this. These are 5x7 cards and a matching envelope. These are a cream color, almost a yellow color that I had. I didn't go out and buy new ones, but I've had these in a pack of 50, I think, so plenty of them. And so this, what I'm going to share with you tonight is we're going to do this pretty pine cone and berries design. And as I do it, I do both on the envelope and on the card. And we're going to flick some white on there for fly specking snow. And I've also done a little bit of aging in the background after we do the painting. So I do it after I do the painting instead of before. And I'll show you how fun and easy that is to do. So let's get those set up here and we will get started. So this one, I'm going to make sure I'm facing the right way. And this is my envelope facing this way. There we go. All right, so colors that I need to put out are, we've got asphaltum. Got to smack that harder, I guess. There we go. So asphaltum, we've got some burnt umber. All right, and then we have wicker white. I need just a little bit more than that. So these are 2 pine cones on here, and I want to do a little bit better job when I do this of angling one from the other so that you can see that there's 2, one's overlapping the other. All right, and then our berry colors, we're going to have some apple red, and I've got fire coral, so a little bit of a light peachy pink color. And then for our evergreen pine needles, I've got sap and citrus green. Thank you. I'm glad you enjoyed the poinsettia card. For those of you who didn't see it, you can go back and watch it. It was on this past Wednesday on my Facebook channel or Facebook page. And it will be up on my YouTube channel in a few weeks as well. So, all right, now I'm just going to get a quick pencil sketch in here because I want you to see how this lays out. Okay, so we have a pine cone that sits right here, and I know you can't really see that. I don't want to make it too dark, but it's sitting right there facing up, right in the center. So the next one, I want it to actually be cocked a little more. It wasn't, I didn't feel like I cocked it quite enough, and it's pretty large, okay? So this one comes down here, and then if I go with my fingers, it's about 4 fingers long and fairly wide in its shape, okay? And then you're gonna have the pine boughs coming out here. There'll be one up here, one coming from here, one flowing out this way, a little bit coming that way, and a little from right about there, okay? And then we'll have a spray of berries coming out around that, okay? So first thing I want to do is I want to get my pine needles in first, my pine boughs in, and I'm going to be using a large angle brush to do that. So this is a 5/8 inch 1-stroke angle brush, okay? And we want to put the dominant color on this is on the toe is going to be the sap green. So I'm going to double load here with sap and citrus. So I've got citrus on the heel. All right, and so now I'm going to come in here with the tip of my brush, and I'm just going to pull the center stems on these. They normally would be woody in real plants, but the green works just fine. All right, so let's come down a little, oops, a little closer this way. All right. And so what I want to do is get some, with this tip of the brush, start at the tip of the pine bough, pine branch, whatever you want to call it, and you're just flicking out, creating that darker background. And it's very easy to do this with an angle brush because you're just using the tip of the toe, tip toe, and the heel gets out of your way. So I'm going and putting the dark pine needles on all of these at once. And you can go past, I should say, you can go past this because these are going to be dark. And so it's actually a good idea to have a few of them coming out from the sides of the pine cones so that it looks like it doesn't just start there at the edge. Okay. So then here. Now normally you would be, if you're doing multiple colors, like when I do the next set, I'm going to start at the tip and work my way back, okay? So I'll show you here. You really want to be layering these so it's a smart thing, and I don't know why, I just can't get my head around to do it the right way, but you want to start from the tip and work your way back. I always start from the back and work my way forward, which isn't that noticeable, but it would be better if you did it this way so that they're layered properly. And I'm a little dry. I'm going to get some floating medium. Normally I wouldn't do that, but on paper, and so it's not a bad idea. There. Well, that's much better. Okay, so now I'm going to flip the brush. I'm going to wipe this off, and I'm going to come here and get my light green. So I'm just going to go ahead and reload light green on the toe of this brush. I don't need the dark on here anymore. And I'm going to come back over all of these. And starting from the tip, I'm going to layer some lighter colors on top of the dark. Okay, so I don't know if you can see that real well, but I can come up here and show it to you. All right, you're just flicking with the tip of that toe of the angle brush, right? So you've got light over dark, and the dark still shows. All right, so here, and it's always best if you can, when you're stroking fine lines, to stroke away from you so that the brush naturally lifts away and leaves those pretty pointed tips on the ends of your stroke. Okay. All right, and here. Now to finish these off, I'm going to take my corner of my brush and side load some white on that light green. And just a few of these lighter, start at the tip. I need somebody on my shoulder just reminding me to do that. Start at the tip and add a few very light pine needles on here. Just a few. Now the thing that's important also when you're doing something like this is to make sure that you're going not only side to side, right? You do want that, but you also want straight up the middle, all right, so that it's doesn't look like you divided them or parted them down the middle. They'll look more round if you go side to side and at more severe angles up the middle, okay? All right, now clean that brush, and we're working with angle brushes tonight, but before I get to the next angle brush, I need to put in my shapes for my pine cones, okay? So I'm going to take a 12 flat first, and I'm going to pick up burnt umber on this 12 flat, and then I'm going to grab some of this asphaltum, which is going to be a little thicker, but that's what we want. So you're going to come right up here to the tip. I'm going to come down now so you can see, sorry, a little bit closer. So what I want to create is this upward movement of the pieces on the pine cone. And so you have to pull up with some pressure and fan out, coming upwards. All right, so coming up like this. Let me grab just a touch of white on this asphaltum so you can see it, a little streaks of color underneath the pine bracts or whatever they're called. Okay, so just you can see them. So as they fan out and go up, and then we're going to do the tips, the seed tips on the ends. Okay, so coming back to, I want my I'm going to set that aside actually, and now we're going to go to a 3/8 inch angle brush. All right, and I'm going to load it with the burnt umber. All right, and then I'm going to come and side stroke on the toe some wicker white, and I want to kind of work that in. Okay, all right, so here's what we're going to do. Oh my goodness, and then I did it again. Before I get too far on my envelope, remember to do this, guys, because I always forget. I get so engrossed in what's next. So before I forget, let me go and put in some pine boughs on this corner. So I'm going to have one coming up here, one out there, and one right there. Okay. All right, so just real quick, move this out of the way so I don't mess it up. Okay, and then here. Just kind of getting the skeleton of it first with the dark. This is not all of it, right? Then we want to come and get our light green color and pull some of those. Remember, you're on an envelope, so you need to leave room for the address in the corner, upper corners for the stamp, the address, and in the middle. Unless you're hand delivering it, of course, or putting it on a gift. Okay, so there we go. We have our pine needles, and then I'm going to come and side stroke some white and just pull a few light colors. Remember to go up the middle as well as to the sides. There we go. Okay. Now we can come back to our angle brush and that pine cone. So we'll do these 2 pine cones on here, and then I'll do the one on the envelope too. Okay. All right, so what you want to do to start is right up here at the top with the light color up. Let me come down just a little bit closer. There we go. I'm going to touch and pull down like that, make a little comma stroke. So hopefully you can see that. And then on the opposite side, I'm going to do another one. All right, and then you start to kind of lay the brush out slightly with a little curved stroke, and right here in the middle. Now we start laying out and creating these folded over, flopped over tops to the pine cone bracts. All right, so you do a little curve. Let me show you that on this side. You start with an outward angle, you push out to a point, roll back in, and come back down towards the center. Okay. And right here in the middle, come down and back up. So here you have this part that's rolled, that's coming out and up to the left. So I'm going to start from out here. I'm going to come in, roll it down, back up, and stand up, coming back into the center. And stand. Keep side stroking that white. Now this in center one, you're going to come down and then back up. Now we're going to drop down and do one out here. There, pull it in. Pull it in. You just have to visualize these streaky parts that are coming up underneath these. So come in, tip it down, back up, and twist. And here, push it down and stand up. Okay, now you might be able to, let's do one more. Up. Now as you start to get lower and the orientation starts to shift to where you're looking maybe more straight on to the bottom, then maybe they're not quite so lifted and they're more just a dip down and up. Okay, and here dip down and up. All right, so you're going to have to watch this on a bigger screen. Yes. All right, so that's the back pine cone. Now we're going to do the front one. Let's grab some more of this asphaltum, and we're going to come and create the shape. So down here, we'll start at the bottom. Let's get that a little darker with some burnt umber. All right, so you come out like that, and then you start to build the shape. Now as you come up, then you're going to pull these in. So let's come up here to the top and then out to the sides, and then flip the brush over here and do the same thing. All right, so see how that's creating that orientation of those flowing down and overlapping. There. Okay, and while I have that on my brush, I'm going to go ahead over here on my envelope, and then we're going to get the shape of the bottom with the darker burnt umber here. Now the tip is coming all the way out here, so just for orientation, I'm going to put a little mark right there. All right, and then so we can come back down here, and we're filling that in. Now I'm getting more of just the asphaltum, and we're pulling in those bracts. And coming up to the top. There. And just looking to balance that out a little bit. There we go. All right, so now let's come back to our first one. I'm going to go ahead and put that in the water. And let's side load some more white. I want to get some asphaltum on here and then side load some white. There we go. All right, so with this oriented, so we've got this one going this way. Now we're going to come right in here. We're going to do those two little comma strokes that come down on either side of the top. Another one right here and one right in the middle. They're just short little strokes. And then here, we're going to start to do a little bit of these wiggles out. And I'm lifting that back edge so the corner is all I'm working with. Right? And pulling it back into the center. The one in the middle goes down and back up. Question, is there a substitute for the color asphaltum? You could use bark brown. It's got a little bit more reddish tint to it. I just like it for, it's got this kind of like orangish reddish tone to the brown in asphaltum, so it looks more natural with something like this. There we go. Oh, hi, Lori Shearsman. Thanks for coming on. All right, so hopefully you're seeing how this stroke is going. I'm going to come down just a little bit closer for a few more of these so you can see. Every time I'm side stroking a little bit more fresh white, and so I'm starting at the left, I'm coming down with my corner and then twisting back up again, and then standing down to the side of the pine brack, okay? And there's lots of different pine cones out there, so don't feel like this is the only way to do them. But I thought this was a very natural look, all right? Now they're gonna start to flatten out, or actually angle more down on this one, all right? So as we come towards the bottom, we're going to start to take our movement a little lower and then stand it back up. Okay, here a little lower and stand it back up. Now on this side we're going to really lay this out, push it out and pull it back into the center. We're going to lay that out and pull it back in. So now they're starting, you're looking down from above. Here. And let's come out and pull that back in. See how that's really opening up now? It's really got kind of a yummy look to it. All right, so here. And then the bottom. So really pushing that out and letting those lay down here and back into the center. There we go. Okay, so that's that pine cone. All right, and then we'll do the one on the envelope. So you get one more chance to see how this is done. So we've got short little strokes here at the top. Let me get a little more asphaltum on the heel of my brush here and side load a little more white. And then we're going to come here and pull it in. So see this little back right here, this stroke up. So if I come from this side and I lift it, pull it down and pull it back up again, now it looks like it's laid over. Okay, here, come from outside that, push it down, lift it back up, and stand it up to the center. And if you've got that asphaltum on the back of your brush, it's going to blend nicely with the background color of the pine cone. Okay. And here we're actually just going to come in the corner and tip it down and stand it up. Right, so each one of these little strokes that I did before from the outside in, now I'm using as my guide for the tips of the pine bracts. Okay, here and here, there. So I hope this is inspiring you to give these a try. Get your angle brushes out and work on, you could do it with a flat too. You don't have to use an angle brush, but it does make it a lot easier if you can do that little flip here. And then let's just, with the toe, I didn't even touch the heel. Laid that in there. Here. All right, and then I'm going to start to lay these down like I did on the other one. All right, and just swerve in, curve it back into the center of the pine cone. There, stand it up. And then down here, pull it in. Pull it in. See how they're laying out there? There, and come in. Now I'm losing my depth here, so I need to put a little more asphaltum on there. There we go. Okay. Then you can come back in here and fill in the ones above it. There, and stand it. And then right here, and stand it up. There you go. That really looks realistic. So you got to have those little bracts laying out like that. Okay. All right. So to finish this off, then let's get our script liner. And let's come back to here. Okay. Now I'm a lot happier with how this one turned out because you can definitely see the two. But if you didn't, then you could actually come in and do some shading in between those pine cones so that you see the front and the back one. All right, so I'm going to get some water and some inky asphaltum. So when you get it inky, you can really kind of see that tone. It's just like a really, really deep. You might try burnt sienna with a little bit of burnt umber. That might work if you don't have asphaltum. Okay. All right, so all I'm going to do with this is we're going to pull a few twigs coming out for the berries to attach to. So maybe up here. Now I'm painting these cards really large, so there isn't really any room to write, you know, season's greetings or Merry Christmas or whatever on them. But if you painted your design a little smaller and left room, then you might have the ability to do that too. Okay, and don't get carried away with these twigs too much. I mean, the idea is that the berries are just going to be hanging on those. So put those on there and then come to the envelope and do the same thing. I'm just going to have this kind of a L shape to this design. So I'm going to come out here and up here. Okay, now be careful because you got to put that address up there. So yeah, that's about all I can do there. Okay, so then to finish this off, let's get our dauber. It's a 1/4 inch dauber, and I'm gonna, let's back up just a hair now. And I'm gonna get half apple red and half fire coral. And then if you need it, get a little bit of white on that fire coral. Will help give a little brightness. There we go. Okay, so then all you're going to do is come right up here and you're going to push and twist. Push and twist. Right. You don't have to do them exactly at the ends of those twigs because they might be some there, but there's going to be some in front of them. Come over the edges of the pine cones a little bit. Let's come down here. And then as we come down this way, start turning the lighter color down. A little bit of white. Oops, lost my red. There we go. Okay, and then over here a few. All right, so there's the card, and then the envelope. Just do a few berries on here as well. And they never turn out the same, but it's close. And there's the berries. Now, I like to come in, just to make it just a little bit more holiday looking, I like to come in with my old toothbrush. You can use a fan brush, get some water, and mix that with some white. All right, and then you can take your, test it on the plate first, though. Because if it's too wet, it'll leave big drops. Okay. Oh, see, I did it anyways. So I'll show you how to fix that. A little spritz of snow. Okay. Now, if that happens, right, it's very wet. So all you have to do is come get a clean, flat brush. Actually, the best way would be a little paper towel. It's very wet, so it should soak up most of it. There we go. Okay, then you just have to come back in with your asphaltum and white and restroke that, which is no big deal. There we go. Put a little of that dark back in there and it'll be fine. All right, so then I took my mop on just the card. All right, so that's the envelope. So on just the card, I took my mop. I got some medium on the mop, not water, medium. Quite a bit of medium. Okay, and I came and got just a little bit of asphaltum. Really work that in because you don't want it really strong. All right, and then you're going to come from the sides and sweep in to kind of antique this a little bit. And come around the berries. Leave some spots where it's not painted, right? So you're just working from the corners and pulling in with that medium on that mop brush. Make sure everything is dry before you do that, because you'll be sad if you start smearing stuff. I'm trying to be real careful here so I don't. So there you go. Then I'm taking my script liner. People love getting hand painted things for the holidays and as gifts. And if you hand paint something, make sure you sign it so that they know you made it with love just for them. Right here. There you go. So that's our pine cone and berries card and envelope demonstration.